Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause of sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
Edition of the Bullhorn Betty channel. I know you guys are probably wondering, why is she not going live at 10 o'clock? It's because it was Saturday. I wasn't even sure if I was going to do a live, but we have so much stuff. I had this show set up pretty much last night, or not set up, but all the stuff that I was going to be discussing, with the caveat of a couple updates on some cases that I saw this morning, on cases I was already going to be talking to you guys about from last night. It's great. So not great. We've got some terrible news to tell everybody about a case we were going to be going to. First, let's just get back to what is pressing right at the moment. We're going to be kind of, when I do these kind of lives where I have a lot of news to tell you, for whatever reason, my computer gets has hiccups whenever we have a lot of news articles that have a lot of advertisements in them because they constantly are refreshing the advertisements like every 5 seconds, and it just bogs the system down. So just bear with me. I'll be deleting these things as we talk about them. Well, hello, Deanna. Thank you for being the member of a crazy crew we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. And I see Nanette. Thank you. God bless you. We will find you, Sebastian. Amen. Amen. We got some talking points on the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case as well that we're going to be discussing kind of later in the show. This is kind of two shows into one because it's Saturday. You guys know my day on Saturday is kind of my day. So I'm doing the show that we would be doing on crime stories in conjunction with the show we would do on this. Hey, Lady Justice. Well, thank you. And God bless you. God bless you. So this is kind of the breaking news we have. We have touched on this case just ever so slightly. This is the young teenager, the pregnant teenager that's pregnant by a 40-year-old man and has disappeared. It is alleged that they're changing their license plate as they're on the run. Nobody has seen her or heard from her, but this seems like a situation where there may be some, brooming with a G involved in this, 40 years old. She's 16. I believe she's 16. How old is she? Why is it not giving me her address? I think she's 16. Or not her address, her age rather. I think she's 16. 16-year-old. Yeah, 16. So she's 16. She's with a guy by the name of Danny Day. Gary Day. Good gracious, I can't speak this morning. His name is Gary Day, and he's the 40-year-old that keeps changing the license plate on the car. And it's went from, I can't remember what state, to Arkansas, to all different kinds. So they are changing the license plate on their car. We're going to see here a commercial. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do.
For 16-year-old Sophia Franklin has been active for more than a month now. She went missing from Beaver Dam.
Oh, thank you, Outer Banks.
40-year-old
God bless you.
Today, we have new photos of the two. Take a look. Here are the new photos. Police believe they are driving a 2014 black Buick LaCrosse. Franklin was 3 months pregnant when she went missing. The U.S. Marshals were taking over her case. Last we heard on February 18th.
You cannot tell me that a 16-year-old girl wants... Sorry, I'm sorry, but you can't tell me a 16-year-old girl wants to be... That's my understanding of him.
And of course...
I mean, that is what a 16-year-old girl aspires to be with. There's definitely a level of grooming involved in this case, in my opinion. I don't see any 16-year-old girl just, I don't know. When I was 16-year-old, I was looking for the cute guys, right? The bad boys. Definitely not a 40-year-old bald guy. I'm sorry, not sorry. I judge people. If you don't like it, I'm probably too offensive for you to watch. Please exit stage right and change the show. Just saying.
In Arkansas, Missouri, and of course one here in Wisconsin. Today, Beaver Dam police told us they would not lift the alert until there's proof that she and her unborn child are not in danger.
So there you have it. She's still on the lam.
3-year-olds,
Hey here, buddy.
don't always follow directions.
You do what I tell you. Come here.
3-year-olds will sometimes...
Okay, I don't know. That was a little weird. Okay, I'm just saying that was just a little weird. I'm gonna have to set up my screens. Oh dear gracious. Oh dear gracious. Is this it? It is the next one. So as you guys saw, she is in it. She's 16 years old. She's pregnant. We don't know what men in his situation are willing to do. They need to know that she's okay and that her unborn baby is okay. It appears that they are on the run, but there's nothing definitive saying that he didn't get rid of her and he's on the run himself. We have nothing. We have nothing on the case. So it's it's bothersome, especially this day and age when our government is cracking down on these types of relationships. They're inappropriate. At no matter how we look at it, they're inappropriate. They're not um, things that we have a palate for. We expect our children, even though our history has shown, different age gaps. Um, and that is true. Even me and my ex-husband, there was a 10-year age gap. We're talking about Gene Hackman. There's a 30-year age gap between him and his wife. The difference is that they were already adults when that took place, as opposed to it being a 40-year-old with a 16-year-old. I mean, that's just a little. It doesn't sit on the palate as good as a 95-year-old with uh, a 65-year-old. You know what I'm saying? So just to let you guys know, it's not good. And when people are on the run, I don't know what the laws are in their state. Obviously she's not 12 years or younger, but I'm pretty sure somebody that gets a 16-year-old pregnant that's 40 years old is most likely going to do a significant amount of time behind bars. Okay, I would definitely think that person has nothing to lose. Let's pray to God he truly does care for her and her well-being and his child's well-being, not to do anything stupid. But that's still playing Russian roulette, because we don't know which ones are willing to take their um, younger person out to. Was he a teacher? I didn't dive into the case enough to answer that. I really don't know who he is or how he got involved with the 16-year-old girl. I'm not going to play too much for you on this next one. I'm just going to show you guys what's going on. We've been covering a case, not very in deeply just yet, but on as of Sunday, we were going to start going out there and seeing what we could do. I wish I had a photo of this 17-year-old kid. Hold on a second. Let me do a different search so I'm going to switch to a different tab so you guys can recognize his face. Let me get the tab up. There he is. Okay, this kid right here. Now, he has been missing since March 1st when he left his house. We were talking about it yesterday. When he left his house, his family ended up finding some type of draft or a note saying he wanted self-harm. He has not been seen since. He took off on his bike. He had one backpack on, and then I guess he had a backpack hidden by the school. So I can't remember the color. I remember the second backpack was red. That I remember, but I believe they said maybe the first backpack was navy blue, and he switched one of the backpacks out for the other and proceeded to wherever he was going. Well, yesterday they did find his bicycle, and his bicycle was laying near this place called Weeden Island Preserve. Weeden Island Preserve. And so that gave them some hope. But, we know about the preserves. Bryan Laundry, a prime example. And so I was out talking to my neighbor, and he tells me that they found the boy in Palmetto. I said, we had a boy missing in Palmetto. Palmetto is part of Manatee County, my county. I had no earthly idea. And so, after our morning coffee and chatting this morning, I came in here and I'm like, I know of a 17-year-old boy missing, but I don't know of a 17-year-old boy missing in our county. The one that we were talking about was in the Tampa Bay area in St. Petersburg. And so I came in here. I didn't find anything for Manatee County for a missing 17-year-old or a missing 17-year-old found deceased. And so my heart was starting to sink a little bit, because he watches, this is our local news, and we're part of Tampa. We're part of Tampa Bay. And then lo and behold, I decided to search his name just to see if possibly maybe my neighbor got some information wrong. And sure enough, now they have not ruled this person that they found in the Weeden Island Preserve as being this 17-year-old child. But let's face it, we have a 17-year-old child that left his home, threatened to unalive himself, They found his bike on the outside of Weeden Island Preserve, leading the search in Weeden Island Preserve, where a discovery of a human body was in Weeden Island Preserve. Okay, so there's we are waiting for actual DNA and confirmation, okay, of the findings, but it's not a stretch to think that it's this 17-year-old child. And when I was reading some of the articles, his family really cares about him. His dad's been sleeping downstairs on the couch waiting for his son to walk in the door. I mean, it is truly heartbreaking. Every single one of these stories we cover are truly heartbreaking. And these ones where you have a teenage kid that thinks life's not going to get better, they make a temporary situation a final one, and it's just incredibly sad. And the grief, pain, and quite frankly, these, when something like this happens, the family blames themselves, right? They blame themselves, the shoulda, woulda, couldas. If I could have just understood, if I just knew, if I would have tried harder, if I woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? And that will forever plague his entire family for the rest of their life here on earth, whether they could have done something to prevent this. And it's a life sentence for them. It truly is a life sentence for them. And there's no justice. At the end of the day, there's no one really to blame. And there's a lot of pain behind this particular situation. He was so young, he was so bright, and this world is getting meaner. And I have to think, I see all these adults on these social media platforms that have underage children in their household, and the behavior that they're displaying. Those children are just eating that stuff up. They're like sponges. And then then they go to school and they start being nasty and mean to somebody else. And it's just a perpetuating cycle, and it's not ending. To me, it feels like it's only getting worse. And the people that are paying the highest price are these children that don't feel like they are ever going to survive the cruelty and bullying. Not that that is what happened, but it seemed like he had an amazing family that loved him a lot. It's just hard. And I think that we need to, at least the people we can touch, right? We don't get in the drama, so we're not going to have our channels filled with 1,700 people wanting to hear a fight online, or whatever drama they created, where they want the person that goes against their position to come up on board, so 5 or 6 of them can bully this person and scream at this person and make a big scene. It's like, this is the kind of stuff that is resonating in our school age children, and being perpetrated and peppered all over this country. It's got to stop, and it's got to stop with parents. And when you see it, you need to start correcting the parents too. If you see it, you need to be standing up and speaking up. If you see somebody else's child that and they're doing wrong, you need to let that parent know and say, look, this was very, very offensive to me, and this was your child, and I hope you get this corrected. So we as a community need to stand up and start speaking out about this, even at the college age. And if it's your child, you need to make sure that this is a serious matter. Whatever you got to do. They don't understand serious until they can't go on social media. Take their social media and cell phones away until they understand how much of a serious matter it is to be bullying people in school. And also, don't let them forget, when they were a kid, you've got some pretty embarrassing stuff that you could happily pepper all over social media if they continue this action. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I mean, we've seen parents do a lot of crazy stuff to make their kids realize what they're doing, right? We've got dads and Daisy Dukes dropping their daughters off, walking them to their classroom, right? Right? We have real parenting out there. And so hopefully we can get this. Now, I don't know. I'm not, this is a big leap because we don't have a lot of information. He may not have been bullied. He may have just been dealing with a lot of stuff. We don't know what was going on in this young man's life. But usually when it's taken this far, it does have a bullying element to it. I'm sorry. We see it so many times. It's hard not to speak and call it out because it's just, we kind of see it all the time, and we know something is what ignites this, for somebody to feel so hopeless and helpless that they feel that taking themselves out of this world is better than just walking through the bullshit. That's sad, and people may be offended about how us older folks were raised, but you know what? The way we were raised gave us backbone. It did. And you know what it was? We didn't, my parents didn't coddle me. My mom was a mom. If I fell down, she'd bandage me up. She'd, hold me and let me cry and kiss my boo-boo, right? But she didn't prevent me from falling, right? This day and age, we're taught to prevent any pain from coming to our children. How does our child know not to touch a hot stove, right? Some of our children are wise and listen to us telling them don't touch the hot stove. And some children are curious and have to learn on their own. Right? Do you think that we younger folks had knee pads and elbow pads when we were learning to ride a bike? That's a bad excuse because I really would actually prefer the knee pads and the elbow pads. But you know what? We learned to ride a lot quicker, okay? I'm sorry. You fall down on your butt once, you skin your knee, you get your elbow next, you keep that bike upright. You keep the bike upright. So I feel like we're taking a lot of experiences from our people by coddling them so much. It's just an opinion. It doesn't mean that my opinion's right. It doesn't mean that it's saturated in truth or statistics or anything like that. It's just, I see this from an outside looking in about how strict people are about, your children not getting hurt and stuff like that. Listen, I had a fun childhood, and my fun childhood involved me getting hurt a few times. Okay. But it was still an amazing childhood. So I don't know, I really don't. It's odd, right? It's odd. I loved my childhood. I loved playing with my friends. I loved going and getting into things. We jumped off school buildings. We jumped out of trees. And like I said, I never understood why Sebastian Rogers is always in trouble as much as he is. Like, we were hellions. Okay? We were out. And when we were out of mommy and daddy's sight, we did some stuff. Okay? Now, I don't know. I think I might have been 7 years old going to jail for the first time in today's society because, yes, we broke it. We didn't break into the school. We broke onto the school, okay? We climbed up to the roof, and we thought it was fun, right, to jump off the school roof onto the ground. It was great. We had a great time. Nothing broke. We didn't break anything. Now that we're older, we both have ankle problems. I won't lie about that. It does catch up to you, okay? But at the end of the day, if Bullhorn Betty did that into today's society, I was like 7 years old. I might have been younger. I don't know. Angela was the oldest. I want to, because I was always blamed for everything when we were younger. I just want to tell you, she was the oldest. She was the oldest one of us. She didn't have control over anything, but she was the oldest. She did say jump a few times, so we did follow instructions. She was just next to us. That's all as we went down. So in today's society, I'm pretty sure that the cops would have handcuffed me. Okay. I don't think it's a handcuffable offense, but in this day and age, I feel like I would be in juvenile detention for jumping off of a school. I don't know what the charge would be. I didn't damage property, right? Trespassing, I guess, would probably be the only thing they could charge. I don't know. So I don't know how many of you guys had an opportunity to watch my video that I dropped a couple hours ago, and it was something that was sent to me by one of our people here. I don't remember. I mean, I get sent a lot of stuff, so please don't be mad. I know who sent it to me whenever I start going back and deleting some emails, but I do apologize. But somebody sent me this story, and I was looking at it. And it was like almost instantly you felt like something isn't right here. You really do. And it is getting some traction. Okay. There's a lot of articles on this. There are some people that are very tuned into this case. And I don't know what to think of it because truth is stranger than fiction. There's a lot of questions I have, and we'll go over some of those questions after I play. This is about 5 minutes and 21 seconds, and we wouldn't even have to play it, y'all, if you just go over and watch it on my videos. I'm just joking. I didn't put it on TikTok yet or Facebook, so those views will come when that happens. But for the meantime, so we can go into this next segment, I'm going to go ahead and play for it. Then we have one. Oh, nope. We have two more stories after this. One's going to take us a little longer. And then we're going to kind of get into the update of the 32-year-old hostage of his stepmom. So, all right. Without further ado, I just want to make sure I had my stuff in order. And I do. Here it is.
Twin brothers found on a mountain far away from the airport where they're supposed to load up to head to Boston Friday morning. That is what's happening right now. GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, is reporting that these two people that were found by a hiker are brothers, and it's an apparent murder-suicide. But wait, the family says, not so quick. They've never seen these brothers be violent toward each other, and they've never seen them as much as even into a fist fight, let alone being so angry at one another to have a murder-suicide or anything like that. And they still had their boarding tickets in their wallet. Things aren't as they...
That just doesn't make sense to me. Does that make sense to any of you? These boys have a pact? Like it's one of two things, one of three things. Okay, they were met with foul play and unalived. They did in fact have a fight, and one unalived the other, and then realized, oh my gosh, what did I do? Unalived themselves, and then there's the possibility of an S pack, right? An unaliving pack where it's possible that they may have planned this, but at the end of the day, I just don't feel like something is not right, because even if they were going to do something like this, you would think their family seems really close. It doesn't seem like they're a distant family, or they seem like they have a good support system. But there are a few questions that I do have that I haven't read about yet, and yeah, their tickets were in their wallet. And so, me, next thing I'm thinking of is like, was there an Uber driver? We're hearing some crimes coming out of Uber and Lyfts, y'all. I don't know what it is, but I've heard several, but it's usually the passenger. It's like passenger on, driver type of crime, not driver on passenger type of crime, but it's not unheard of. We've had a lady disappear out of, I think it was an Uber driver's car. Come to find out, he did unalive her. So I'm sure he probably did some other unsavory things. I just don't remember whether that was part of the case or not. So even when you guys have trusted Uber, be vigilant, right? I always carry pepper spray around my neck. I always carry, if I have my keys with me, I have pepper spray. It's on my key ring. Always recommend having something for protection, even if you don't want, somebody can't really do a whole lot when they're blinded. Okay. So just please be safe and please be cautious. We don't know what the story is. You guys will hear some more details here in just a short second.
Scene in Georgia. Check it out.
Towns County, GA. A mystery is unfolding on Bell Mountain in Towns County after the bodies of twin brothers from Lawrenceville were discovered nearly 90 miles from home.
90 miles.
The Georgia Bureau of Investigation is initially treating the case as a murder-suicide, but the victim's family is pushing back, saying that explanation doesn't add up. Kader and Nazir Lewis, both 19, were found shot to death Saturday morning by a hiker at the summit of Bell Mountain, near the North Carolina border. The discovery came as a shock to their family, who had believed the twins were in Boston visiting friends at the time. "We want answers. We want to know exactly what happened to the twins," their aunt, Samira Bronner, said. The twins were inseparable, according to family members, and had no known history of conflict. They're very protective of each other. They love each other, their uncle Raheem Bronner said. They're like inseparable. I couldn't imagine them hurting each other because I've never seen them get into a fist fight before.
Cute boys.
The family said the brothers had booked a flight to Boston for 7 a.m. last Friday, but never made their flight. Just 24 hours later, they were found dead in an area the family said they had never visited before. The family said the brothers' plane tickets were found in their wallets on the mountain. How did they end up out in the mountains? They don't hike out there. They've never been out there, Bronner said. They don't know anything about Hiwassee, Georgia. They never even heard of Bell Mountain, so how did they end up right there? The GBI stated that their preliminary findings suggest a murder-suicide, but the family strongly disputes that conclusion. "We knew right away that wasn't true," Bronner said. Their aunt, Yasmin Bronner, added, "They had a huge support system. We know them. They wouldn't do anything like this." To say they did this to each other? No. Something happened in those mountains, and
I'm sorry, but I trust family. Sometimes family, they keep a lot of stuff to themselves, but this family's adamant. There's no animosity or hostility, that these kids are not violent kids. And the other question is, where would they have gotten a firearm? Did they have a firearm on them? And if they did have a firearm on them, what were they thinking going to an airport with a firearm? So I got a lot of questions. And we're going to touch on a few of them here in just a second.
we want answers. The GEI confirmed that autopsies have been completed, but the agency is still awaiting additional forensic test results along with additional investigative work before issuing a final ruling on the cause of death. The family has created an online campaign to help cover the funeral costs for the twins. If you would like to donate, you can do so.
And right now, the GBI is looking into two mysterious deaths after twin brothers were found dead at the top of Bell Mountain. That scene unfolding in Towns County Saturday morning. That is in far north Georgia. Here's what we know about this. The hikers, they found Kader Lewis and Nazir Lewis, 19-year-old twins, who are from Lawrenceville with apparent gunshot wounds. Investigators believe this may have been a murder-suicide, but they will not know that for sure until an autopsy is completed.
However, the family has lots of questions about how in the world the boys got there, a place that they have no idea even existed before their murders.
How they end out in the mountains, they don't hike out there. They've never even been out there. They don't know nothing about Hiwassee, Georgia.
That doesn't make sense.
They never even heard of Bell Mountains. So how did they end up right there?
Both the brothers have been shot, but their aunt and uncle do not believe that either of them would have done this.
They're very protective of each other. They love each other. They're like inseparable. So I couldn't imagine them hurting each other because I never even seen them get into a fist fight before.
They had a huge support system. Like, we know them that they wouldn't do anything like this. So to say that they did this to each other when they come from a family of love, and they love each other, they always together, we don't believe that. They didn't do this to each other. Something happened in those mountains, and we want answers.
So now you guys get to hear a little bit about this weird and mysterious case. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channel.
So again, this is just an oddball case that it's making me question it, because I always tell families, if you know something is wrong, you know better than anybody else. You guys have heard me say that on here when it comes to missing adult missing children, right? You sit your butt there and you make them take you seriously, make them understand this is out of the norm. And this is just me supporting a family standing up and speaking up and saying something does not sound right here. And we need people to understand this is not them. There's something seriously, seriously wrong here. And I hope law enforcement in Georgia looks into this a little deeper instead of just ruling it a homicide and suicide homicide type of a situation here. Where's the evidence to support that? Yes, you have a autopsy, and yeah, two people may be shot, and yeah, there may be a gun within close proximity of them, but I'm hopeful to see some GSR, right? We should have some evidence that somebody fired a firearm. There's evidence of that. There should be evidence of the proximity from one to the other, so they can tell depending on the powder on your wherever the gunshot wound is, how far of a distance they were from that subject when shot. So we've got a lot of stuff that I'd like to hear about, because this family is saying, wait a minute, something's not right. And I have to say the same thing. Think about it. They're heading to an airport to load on a plane. They have plane tickets that they purchased. This doesn't seem like a suicide pack at all. For me, if this was like an unaliving type of pack, I expect to see maybe some communications back and forth between one and the other. I expect to, they wouldn't. What would be the purpose of spending money to buy a ticket if you know you're never going to board the plane? These are things that I'm looking at that are critical to analyzing that. Yes, it does appear there's more to be told to the story, and anything that we can do to advocate that something seems seriously wrong here. This channel is always happy to do it, because I've got to tell you, this doesn't feel right to me. And if something isn't right in the pit of my stomach, then we got to pump the brakes and see what's going on. Now, we have had some letdowns in the past where, such as, and I always bring this up, Ellen Greenberg. I just don't want an Ellen Greenberg type of situation where, this family is having to sue a state just to have their child's case treated as a homicide when it truly was a homicide. So it's just sad. I don't know one way or another, what truly happened, but no matter how you look at it, if it truly is a suicide, homicide type of a situation, then there's got to be some evidence of that, and not just bullet trajectory. I'm talking about, evidence. Nobody just does this without, some type of provocation. There's got to be some type of communication. There's even the 17-year-old boy that wanted self-harm. He had a draft letter indicating he wants self-harm. So there's always something left behind indicating this. And this family is saying that their family comes from love. These children aren't in trouble. They would never hurt each other. They're very protective of each other. These are all the check boxes in the right area for me to stop and say there's something more going on here. At least I want to satisfy my brain that there isn't more going on here before we accept this, when the family is standing up very loud and standing up and speaking up, and we want to support that. So that really is the situation. And it was I believe their aunt, Yasmin Bronner, that had the photos of her nephews or her cousins. I can't remember which it is. I think she was the aunt. And I was able to get some of the photos in this video from her Facebook page, and she was truly, you can tell they truly care for these boys and just want to know what happened to them. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time, even though I've got a lot of information on this next case, and it's the one of the person held captive. This was a 32-year-old man that has not been identified by law enforcement and will not be identified by law enforcement, at least until most likely trial, to help protect him. And you can imagine a story like this we very rarely hear about. So a lot of people are going to be interested in the real story. So a lot of the reasons why they keep these people concealed is so they have an opportunity to heal and try to have some semblance of recovery before the hyenas and the piranhas and people like me come knocking on their door asking them for them to tell their story, right? So I understand why they're keeping this kid off the radar, but a lot of our audience have been sending me some information, and I got to tell you, it's a lot worse than I thought. He's got basically no teeth. He was 68 pounds. He was only able to have 2 cups of water a day and 2 sandwiches a day, and that's what he lived off of. His father died in 2024, the January area of 2024. He was only 61 years old at the time of his death. And I'm very, very concerned if this kid here is being treated this way, and we have a probable cause affidavit littered with how Kimberly was the ones making these decisions, yet in her attorneys trying to make us believe that it was her husband making the decisions for the family. And I don't believe it. I think she was an overbearing, controlling woman that had 2 disabled people, well, 1 disabled person in her clutch, her husband, and his son, which was 11 years old at the time, very easily to be manipulated and controlled at 11 years old because this is a parental figure. So I think that's what happened. Why she locked this child up, I will never have a clue. She just turned into like a step monster. And the uncle got to visit with his nephew for the first time. His story is that she also pushed the entire family away. She did everything she could to isolate her husband, her children, and his children or his son. I don't know if the other 2 siblings in the house are his how he's related to them, if they're related by just by marriage, or if it was children that Kimberly as well as her husband had together. We're very unclear of that. I do have these children's names. I'm not going to be publishing them for for the same reasons. Most news outlets aren't bringing them up in a situation like this. If they were a suspect or a person of interest, I would have no problem sharing that information. But in the light of the situation we have with this case, I'll keep those to myself. I'm pretty sure other people have the information as well and will also be keeping that information to themselves. But the uncle said that he looked like a Holocaust survivor. He's skin and bones, and he has no teeth. His teeth are rotten. His hygiene is poor. He's having mobility issues, just a whole host of things that are going on with that case. The neighbors have come out and spoke out and said they barely even saw the woman out of her home that's accused of locking her stepson away for 20 years. There's nothing, they didn't see anything strange because they never saw her. I saw pictures of this house before the fire because I couldn't tell if those windows were boarded up because of the fire or after the fire. And it is my understanding that that house has been in that condition for a while with the boarded up windows. If anybody knows otherwise, that's the way I'm looking at this, because I saw a house covered in snow, and the house covered in snow, and the photo that showed the house, it showed the windows all boarded up. As you can tell, the photos that we've seen here recently don't really show any snow on the home at all. So it's making me believe that the photo with the snow on it is from a different time, maybe sometime last year. And I don't quite understand. Okay, Outer Banks says they were half sisters. Why didn't they report? That is a great question. But it also sounds like this woman has is a very cruel woman and has a way to keep people under control. If they don't do what they say, the punishment is severe. We don't know what they mean by punishment. We don't know what they mean by that. It could be physical beatings for all we know. It could be being locked in the room for 3 days without food or water. We don't know what it is, but when you take somebody's life essentials away from them, such as food and water, they will be willing to do just about anything to get the nutrients that their body needs just to survive. The minimal survival needs of a human being are fluids and nutrition. And if somebody takes that away from you and takes that away from you for a significant, they have a way of controlling you. How do you think all these people get brainwashed? There's a lot that goes in with the brainwashing, and I'd have to say that there's probably going to have to be some deprogramming required for this man, whether they know it now or not, because he had to have been brainwashed not to run away from home. Think about it. Now, is this does the lady have some type of disease? I don't know. I mean, I would think anybody that does this to somebody is wholly mentally unstable, but you never know. And this is her attorney's article, basically blaming his father, claiming he was in control. A man in a wheelchair, a man that was, left to a wheelchair is the one in control of running the house. Okay, yeah, I believe that. I believe that the man died at 61 years old. Okay, I doubt he was in control of much of anything. But that's what they're claiming. They're claiming that basically this is the way his father treated him, and she's just honoring the upbringing that his father wanted for his child. That's what she's saying. So, all right, guys, that was kind of a very brief run through on that case. We may dive into it later today, but Saturdays are typically the days that I don't really do a whole lot. And then Sunday we have church, and we start our day very late on Sundays. It says, oops, I'm heading out to Mass. I'll be offering it up for Sebastian. See you on. Thank you, Phil. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you for that. We appreciate that. So this next one is a little more intense. This is the 911 call with the Idaho 4. I know that a lot of people have already played this because this is not one of our breaking cases that we have anymore, even though this is breaking information, in my opinion. I was disgusted. There are a few creators that get under my skin here, like really, really get under my skin. And they're all trash. They're all associated with they are all cockroach channels. This is just another cockroach channel that hangs out with the same cockroaches that we have grown to hate and want to raid, right? And this channel is basically saying that these people were faking this call. This was a horribly scripted call. I can tell they're highly uneducated people. I can tell that the content creator doesn't even have a college education to even have the experience or the expertise to have that assessment, nor has there been any information or evidence that has come out to support that information. I felt shook when I heard this for the first time. You heard the quivering. You can't make your voice quiver even if you wanted to. Nobody is that good. You could almost feel how chaotic it was that morning. A lot of people keep wondering what happened. How did they not know blood was there? There's a lot of reasons. We don't know if she moved from when she was first stabbed. We don't know if all the stab wounds if she was laying on her back and all of her stab wounds were on her back and they couldn't see it. We don't know if she was on her back and her whole front was done and she couldn't see it. We don't know what is going on inside of that home, but what we know is that these girls knew immediately something was not right. They tried to tell the 911 caller at the very beginning, something's wrong here. And they tried to explain to the person on the phone that there was a man inside their house literally immediately, and she would not let them tell what they knew. She wanted to hear about I would assume Xana must have been on the floor. So, it's hard. It was hard for me to listen to, and it was even harder for me to listen to a bunch of twats talking about it like they have some common sense and sitting here and dragging and victim shaming these victims. You know what? Screw you. How dare anybody victim shame? How dare you? You weren't there. It's infuriating. It's absolutely infuriating. Oh, thank you. You can't see me gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. If you received your received your gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell you can't see me. Thank you. And welcome to this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. All right, let's get on with this. Thank you, War Eagle. War Eagle is the person that I pulled this from, and I appreciate it. There wasn't any commentary. It was just a straight audio, so I do appreciate it. This is credit to War Eagle, War Damn Eagle, as we know War Eagle as here on this YouTube platform. And if you haven't subbed up to War Eagle, you need to get your butt over there and sub up.
November 13th.
Let's go back to the very beginning.
11:55 a.m. 42 seconds. November 13, 2022.
911 location of your emergency.
Hi, something is happening. Something's happening in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the light, so we're next to them.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address?
So I want you guys to hear, like, they're still crying in the background when she takes the phone. It's not like they went silent. The girl was so distraught that she couldn't stay on the phone. I've seen that before. I don't know what these, I'm not even going to go into it. They don't matter. They're idiots. I don't know how the lady's got almost 36,000 subscribers, but she's an idiot. She's a hot mess express, and she looks like stinking skinhead.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address? 1122 King Road.
And what's the phone number that you're calling from?
What's your phone number?
That's redacted, just to let you know.
And tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates is passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah.
And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, but we gotta go check.
So, I'm hearing this stuff, and I know that the CC, the names and stuff right here are automatically what you're seeing. Let me just put like right here where it says go check, but we have right here. Those are automatically generated on any app that you have. So some of the words are wrong, especially the inaudible stuff. It may just pick up a word that they didn't say. So be careful not to take the reading words and listen to the audio.
But we have to.
See, they keep asking, is she just passed out? So clearly, whatever happened, we probably won't see the evidence until the trial. The evidence is going to be important because I think what's in a lot of people's minds is how did they not see the massive amount of blood? We don't know that answer, but to assume something is a little ridiculous. We're hearing what was going on. This is an authentic 911 call. We're hearing it as they are confused. I can tell that these people are confused. They're praying to God she's just passed out, but they know something is not right. You can hear it. They've said it. They tried to explain the man being in the house at 4 a.m. The dispatch caller did not want to hear it. She wanted to hear about the victim, which is her only job, is to make sure that if that they get the right people out there to help their friend. So I understand her point in cutting them off, but they are obviously now very concerned that prank at 4 a.m. wasn't just a prank. They're starting to, you can see, then you got to remember these kids were all drunk last night. They're waking up late. They've got hangovers. They're not in the right senses. If you guys don't remember what it's like to go drink, get yourself a bottle of booze and drink it and wake up tomorrow and tell me how cognizant your head is when it's quit spinning. I mean, we've got to really understand these people, and I think people forget that. They forget what it feels like to wake up, half drunk still. And I think that needs to be applied here. Everybody in that house was drunk. Everybody. Thank you, Vic. God bless you.
She's not waking up.
They know something's seriously wrong. I don't know how they're shaking her. I don't know how they're touching her. Are they just shaking her shoulder? It sounds like they are very, very aware something is truly not right.
Okay. One moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, thank you.
You know what this is telling me? This is telling me they also haven't realized that 3 other people in their house are deceased because they're only focused on one person. They're only focused on one person. They haven't even realized the rest of the people in the house are deceased. Not, or passed out, because they thought, I'm sure if they would have went upstairs to check on Kaylee or Maddie, they would have realized very quickly something was seriously, seriously wrong. They would have probably been worse off on this 911 call than we hear them. But the way I'm hearing it is they only think they're friends. So I'm assuming it's Xana, because that is on that main floor. You have Xana's room on one side, and in between Xana's room and Dylan Mortensen's room is the living room. So they're on one side of the living room. She's on the other side of the living room. And in between those bedrooms is a kitchen and a living room. And it appears that he came in from the sliding glass door in the kitchen and made his way up to the 3rd floor. It appears that he started the assault on the 3rd floor and worked his way down. Dylan had overheard one of her friends say somebody else is here or something to that effect. You're hearing somebody breathing uncontrollably. Somebody is absolutely, what I'm hearing on the other end of the phone with the breathing and the that is shock. Whoever that is absolutely, without a doubt, in my opinion, in shock.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes, 20. You're 20.
Okay.
Hello?
This makes me believe that the bedroom doors were shut. I think that they found her in the bathroom. I think they found her in the I don't know. I remember hearing, now that things are starting to come back to me, I remember hearing that we'll have to go to the probable cause affidavit. I didn't pull it up, but this has kind of got my brain thinking. So I want to get to the probable cause affidavit. So we'll pull that up next and read that. And I think this might help clarify what was going on here.
Hello? Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Okay, sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay.
You need to talk to them, say. I can't talk to them. They need you to talk to them.
Okay. Hello. Okay. I've already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
Say that again? There's a police here right now.
Okay. If there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
We don't have one. I think yes. Do you have a defibrillator? Yep. Yes, you have one.
Are you talking to the officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you.
All right, so that's pretty much the end of that conversation. There might be, let me just see if there's any more.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
11:59 a.m.
All right, so that was almost 5 minutes long. It started at 11:55 and some seconds. We're at 11:59 and 49 seconds, and that was the call. Now I'm going to go ahead. Oops, wrong button. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the probable cause affidavit. And like I said, this probable cause affidavit, in all of the work I've ever done in my history, background, law firms, everything. And I got to tell you this, and I said this at the beginning when we got this, that this was one of the most thorough probable cause affidavits that I think I have ever read. And I think that they had done that for 2 parts. I think they did that for, I think they did that more for the public because they knew that as soon as they were making the arrest, they were going to have to be, they could no longer speak to media. They now have to go into a different stage of the case because the case is now going to proceed to trial. And so I think they did that for two part. I think they were just trying to let the world know what they truly had in their possession, custody, and control that led to this person that just came poof out of thin air. Nobody heard of Bryan Kohberger's name. Nobody had heard, they were starting to entertain a student from Washington State University, but honestly, nobody had even brought up Washington State University until we started recording and released that at the time. We were the first channel with media that even brought up Washington State University. Out of all the stuff, the first one that came out, and that was literally within less than 48 hours after we didn't know. It was because of this probable cause affidavit we realized that they had just learned of Bryan Kohberger's name just a day or two before I recorded out in front of Washington State University. And that was all kept under wraps. They didn't let anybody know, but his car had just been identified around 12:01 a.m. on the 29th of November. And I'm out there on December 1st recording in front of Washington State University, and had no clue that his name even brought up or that there would be any connection to Washington State University. It was a little odd. Okay, here we go. Bryan Kohberger. There it is. Okay. Oh, shit. Don't tell me they took it off. Okay, they have 24. I'm going to say, wait a minute. Whoa. Okay, so this is from 2022. Criminal complaint. Probable cause. Let's see which one it is. It's one of these three. I think it might be the criminal complaint. No, not it. No, not it. Okay, let me keep going. They didn't have the probable cause affidavit until 2023. I think he came back on January 4th, 2023. I remember being in... Where the flip is the probable cause affidavit? It was January 25th. Affidavit here. Sorry. That was my fault. All right, we got it. Sorry about that, guys. It took me just a second to find it. They changed the website a little bit from what it was when I was accustomed to going there. I just want to take a few moments just to thank everybody this morning. Nanette, thank you so much. Deanna, it's nice to have you as the newest member. We have Lady for Justice. Thank you so much for your love and support. Outer Banks, thank you for all you do as well. Panda Bear's mom, 3 months. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Melanie, as always, she says, happy Saturday, Betty, Delilah, Mods, and chat. Love to all, Betty. I look up to you. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Outer Banks letting us know they were half sisters and questioning why they didn't report in that 32-year-old man that was held hostage. I couldn't agree more. Phil is letting us know she's heading out to Mass and she's going to be definitely using her time for Sebastian Rogers. You Can't See Me gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. I think I missed Grace Crime with Grace. Great Crime with Grace. broken heart. She is so afraid. Yeah, it's really, really bad. And Vic, thank you so much. God bless you with that awesome super chat. I appreciate that. Or super sticker, rather. I appreciate it. So, we are at the probable cause affidavit. Let me increase it just a little bit so we can all kind of read what we need to read here. And if I recall correctly, everything, oh, no, we do want to hear about the floors. Okay, so let's just start from the beginning. Many of you guys haven't seen this before. And again, it's a very, very thorough probable cause affidavit. This information is from Brett Payne. I do have videos. I can point out who Brett Payne is. He's kind of a stocky guy, looks either Scottish or Irish, kind of got the reddish hair or whatever you call. Really nice guy. And he has been out at this property and has made contact with these kids prior to all this. So this had to probably hit a little close to home for him because he had been over there, for some music, for some alcohol consumption issues and other things. So, anyways. The below information is provided by Brett Payne, and it explains his years on the service and who he is. So this is kind of where the work starts happening, and it doesn't. Even though they called this in around 11:55, they're starting from about 4 p.m. So on November 13th, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department Sergeant Blaker and I responded to 112 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, after the King Road, referred hereinafter as the King Road residence, to assist with scene security and processing of crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon arrival, Idaho State Police forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. So we're about to get walked through the scene for all those that are interested. And we can, we'll definitely be able to tell where, if I recall correctly, where where they were found. I'm not sure. Something's sticking on my computer, so just bear with me. I don't know why it's giving me such a hard time. So I can go down just a little bit more without yanking my system. There we go. So he's going to walk through the scene. Good gracious. Okay. Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. Now, I don't have any photos to show you guys just yet, but I will try to describe it for you before we go any further. So their house is a 3-story house, okay? On the front side of the house, you enter a door on the first level. If you're on the back side of the house, the first level you can enter is the second floor. So the only way you can enter on the first floor is at that door on the front, which has stairs that leads up to the second landing. Under those stairs are 2 additional rooms down there on the first level. I hear everybody saying hi to Tony. I didn't see him come in, but hey, Tony, it's nice to see you, as well as his beautiful wife, Dana, because I always miss her when she's in chat. So I'll just say hi to both of you guys. And so they're talking about entering on the bottom floor through the front of the house. That's where all those cars were lined up. And it's a single door. And again, you go in and you go up the stairs to the next floor. Then the second floor and the third floor are the ones that we're going to be paying attention to for this one. But I wanted to make sure that you guys understood at least the basics of the floor layout. We do have a little more involved. I will go over that on another show, but we do have some 3D animated videos that we're going to show you that kind of depicts everything in this particular probable cause affidavit. It was kind of put in a 3D image. And so we do actually had somebody that did that, and we have something to play for you, but I've got to hunt for it. It's not right at my fingertips, but we will show you at a later date. Okay. So let me go down just a little bit more, and of course it goes up. I love this thing. It's so great. Let me go up, please. This is going to be a hard thing to do. Let me just back this up. It's not letting me do what I need to do. There we go. So he says they entered at the bottom door on the north side of the building. Officer Smith and I then walked up the stairs to the second floor. Officer Smith directed me down the hall to the west bedroom on the second floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Xana Kernodle, hereinafter Kernodle's room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernodle, laying on the floor. So this statement right here is what's got me a little confused. So she's not in her room. It sounds like she's the only one outside of her room. So it didn't say anything about whether her bedroom door was open, and it made a reference to a bathroom door on the south side of the wall. As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernodle, laying on the floor. I don't know whether she was laying on the floor in the hallway, or laying on the floor in her room, or laying on her floor in the bathroom. So that's kind of where we're at with understanding what was going on. But she was the only one that appears to be noticeable from your view. It doesn't sound like anybody else was noticeable. Ethan Chapin, Xana, Maddie, or Kaylee, those weren't. So that's why they focused on Xana, because she appears to be the only one that they saw that morning. And she was unconscious, and we don't know why they didn't notice the blood. If there was blood, something could have happened inside that room, and she could have, crawled out of that room, and the majority of everything is inside. I don't know. We have to find out that information, but I'm not willing to accuse somebody of a phony 911 call when these basic questions can't be answered. So they got Kernodle's room, just the south side. Approached the room, you could see a body, later identified was Kernodle, laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds which appear to have been caused by a edged weapon. Now, where those wounds were observed and why they didn't observe these wounds, I don't know. We can't get that out of the 911 call. That information wasn't known, right? Every time they try to talk about what they saw the night before, the dispatch lady wanted to get back to the victim, which again, we understand exactly why that was so important, because they can get the information later. They need to worry about the condition of the victim. So that's where we're at with that. Now it says also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan Chapin. Now they're saying also in the room, which implies she may have been half hanging out of her room, half hanging in her room, or the door was open and she was by the door. So they had to go into the room to see Ethan Chapin. And why is this important? Because we've seen red-like substance dripping down the back side of the house, and we knew it had to have been blood. But with Xana Kernodle so far away, more closer to the door where you can see in from the outside, it would be my assumption at this point, and again, assumption, that it was Ethan Chapin that caused the red-like substance to drip down the wall. But, apparently the kids did not see him. They only saw Xana and immediately jumped into action. So they said his injuries were also caused by a sharp forced injury. Then followed Officer Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The bedrooms were on the west side of the floor, as later determined to be Kaylee Gonzalez, hereinafter Gonzalez's room. I later learned from a reviewer of the officer's Nunez body camera that there was a dog in the room when police officers initially responded. So her dog was locked in her bedroom while she was in the bedroom with Maddie. The dog belonged to Gonzalez and her ex-boyfriend, Jack DeCour. I found out from my interview with Jack on November 13th that he and Gonzalez shared the dog. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the third floor. The bathroom shared a wall with Maddie Mogen, hereinafter Mogen's bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the third floor. As I entered the bedroom, I could see two females in a single bed in that room. Both Gonzalez and Mogen were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather sheath laying on the bed next to Mogen's right side when viewed from the door, and the sheath was later processed to be a K-bar USMC, which is U.S. Marine Corps, and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of DNA suspect profile left on the button snap of the knife sheath. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow Police Department officers, Idaho State Police detectives, and FBI agents. Two of the interviews include BF and DM, which we now know is Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen, were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicides, where roommates to the victims. BF bedroom was located on the east side of the first floor. Bethany Funk was the only one on the first floor. She was on the first floor by herself. Based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents, as well as my view of evidence, I have learned the following. On the evening of November 12, 2022, Chapin and Kernodle are seen by BF at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus, and it gives the address at approximately 9 p.m. On November 12th, about 1:45 on November 3rd, 9 p.m. on November 12th to 1:45 on November 13th. So BF, Brittany Funk, saw them at the Sigma Chi from 9 p.m. to about 1:45 a.m. on November 13th. BF also estimated that at approximately 1:45, Chapin and Kernodle returned to the King Road residence. BF also stated that Chapin did not live at the King Road residence, but was a guest of Kernodle. Gonzalez and Mogen were at a local bar, the Corner Club. It gives the address for that. Gonzalez and Mogen can be seen on footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. On November 12th to 1:30 a.m. on November 13th. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Gonzalez and Mogen can be seen outside of a local food vendor called Grub Truck, and gives the address to that. The Grub Truck live streams videos from their food truck on a streaming platform known as Twitch, which is also available for public viewing on their website. The video was captured by law enforcement. A private party, Blank, reported that they provided a ride to Gonzalez and Mogen at approximately 1:56 from downtown Moscow to the King Road residence. Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk both made statements during their interviews that indicated that the occupants of the King Road residence were home at 1 a.m. and also asleep, or at least in their rooms, by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. DM stated she originally went to sleep in her room on the south side of the second floor. DM stated she awoke at approximately 4 a.m. to what she stated sounded like Gonzalez playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms. That's probably the dog getting agitated because something's happening to his mommy and he's locked into a room by himself, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Gonzalez saying something to the effect like, "There's someone here." A review of the records obtained from forensic downloads of Kernodle's phone showed This could have been Kernodle, as her cell phone indicated she was on TikTok at approximately 4:12, which we know at 4:12, Kaylee and Maddie were most likely deceased. So it was shortly after this indication at 4:12. DM stated she looked out her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming out of Kernodle's room. DM then said she heard a male voice saying something to the effect of, it's okay. I'm going to help you. That is freaking creepy. She heard him speak to Xana as he was killing her. I truly believe that. At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, and if you guys know what that is, this is the people, the man and the girl that were on the phone helping Brittany and Bethany, or excuse me, Dylan and Bethany call in the 911 call. They came from this road, or from this address. So the security camera on the backside of their house is very, very, very close to, I think it's Xana's bedroom. So at approximately 4:17, a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a resident immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up a distorted audio of what sounded like whimpers following a loud thud. A dog can be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet away from Kernodle's room. DM stated she opened her door for a third time after she heard crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask covering the person's mouth and nose walking toward her. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built, with bushy eyebrows. Remember, we just had a story about how the defense doesn't want them referring to Bryan Kohberger as having bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM. As she stood in a frozen shock phase, the male walked toward the sliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room, and after seeing the male, DM did not state she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe the murderer had left the scene. So that's kind of where we are with that. And then, of course, between DM and BF's phone video, suspect video as described below leads investigators to believe homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 in the morning. So there you guys have it for Bryan Kohberger and the information. We don't know all the answers that 911 call, the questions that have come because of that 911 call, but it's just sad. It's just sad. And it tells me they didn't know anybody else was dead because they were solely focused on Xana. So where was she? I can't determine from the probable cause affidavit. Was she hanging out of the room? Was she in the hallway? Or was she near her door and her door just happened to be open to her bedroom? I don't know. But they clearly didn't see Ethan either. So you could tell they knew something was wrong. They just, it to me didn't appear to know what. And this is where the questions lie, is what did they observe? Many of us are saying, how did they not see the blood? There had to have been a lot of blood. That's not necessarily true, y'all. Yes, is there a lot of blood? Yes, there's obviously blood dripping down, or red-like substance dripping down the side of the house. So you have to imagine that there is some blood. But some people can be injured so severely that they immediately die. Okay? When you immediately die, there's not a whole lot of blood. Why? Because your heart is not pumping the blood out of your body. It just stays in your body. So there are, crimes that may appear to have that you would expect to see a lot of blood, and there's not, because they were instantly killed. Their heart literally stopped beating. And when the heart stops beating, there's nothing pushing that blood out of your body. So just think of it that way. Is it something like that? It very well could be. It very well could be. Let me see where we are. Should be getting through some of this stuff. Okay, why is this thing not moving? Oh, I have the affidavit for Kimberly too. I don't want to get rid of that just yet. I think it was Outer Banks. Outer Banks, did you send that to me? I think you sent that to me. I accidentally glossed over it by accident, and I was meaning to show it when we were at that point, but I'll have to show it tomorrow or later tonight. Okay, we got that. All right, that's what I was afraid of. Go back where I left off. There we go. There we go. I didn't want that. We have some things coming out on X related to the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is the polar opposite of what we have in the Idaho 4. In the Idaho 4, these are college-age students. There was somebody that I truly believe had wanted to know what it felt. I don't think he had a reason, a justifiable reason for targeting these people other than this. I truly believe Bryan Kohberger wanted to feel what it was like to take somebody's life. And I think he really had a proclivity for serial killers. And I think he himself, I think he started realizing who he was as a person. And I think he truly is a serial killer. I don't usually label somebody that unalives people, when you have a bulk unaliving like this, like we were just talking about that Ghost Adventures wife, and, the guy that she's speaking to in jail, that's in jail for the rest of his life for taking out his mom and dad and brother, and they were talking to him as being a serial killer. And I'm like, I don't really think of him when I think of serial killer, because I just don't. And somebody's like, well, maybe they said mass killing, and I said, yeah, maybe it was mass. I can't remember what they referred to him as, but I thought it was a serial killer. And I remember thinking, serial killer, and then I find out it's his mom, his dad, and his brother. And that's not what I consider a serial killer. I consider a serial killer like the happy face killer, like BTK, Rex Heuermann, people that prey on people, and like knowing that they have the power, because serial killers are about power, not anger or frustration or feeling like your family, whatever that guy's dealing with his family. It's a different type of mindset. It's a different type of thinking. It's a different obsession. And I think Bryan Kohberger is a serial killer. Okay. Even though this was one event that took out 4 individuals from the house, I think his intent, this was his first step to becoming what his ultimate goal was to be. And I think he studied very long and hard to be the best serial killer. And I think even in his own mind, he thought he would get away with it. I absolutely believe that Bryan Kohberger is responsible for this. And there's a lot of reasons why I believe he is. But more importantly, there are not a lot. There's only 5,200 residents, full-time residents in that area. And it's very difficult for me to believe, because I was there and I know what it looks like on those roads at night. And there's not a lot of people coming and going in that area. Yet there was a white Elantra. And it was one of the only vehicles. I mean, there were other vehicles on the road that night, but it was only one vehicle that had a certain path, and a certain path directly to their house. No, there was no other vehicle that had that path. The only time another vehicle had showed up to that house was when they were dropping off Maddie and Kaylee. So there's just a lot. Anyways, Laura, it's me, Laura, on or Lauren on Facebook or something like that, is on X, and she's got a lot of videos. I'm not really going to go through those videos, but one of the subscribers for Justice for Sebastian Rogers, Sebastian's Army group, we had a person write this, and I thought this was a very interesting point to make. And it says, is anyone else confused about the two Melissas related to Christopher Proudfoot? First, you have Melissa Marie Richard. This is his stepsister through marriage, who supposedly died in November and may or may not have been the Green Hoodie. Second is Melissa Nicole Proudfoot Svinston. Did she marry Chris's brother or marry the son of Linda Proudfoot, or does Chris have a real sister through Kathy Bowersox? That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. And there was one that was more involved than that, but I don't like Facebook because some of these things you can't share, you know, and I probably should have just shared it to my Messenger account so I had it accessible. But there was one that was very lengthy that really gave a lot of thinking points to it. And I can't for the life of me find the one I was reading yesterday. So I think it's a good one. But I also dropped a video yesterday as well. Did I show that to you guys yet or not? No, I didn't. So I'm going to play that here and now. It looks like a lot of you guys did watch it. It has 3,800 views. But I don't know. I feel like rounding this out with. I did do that Whispering Winds, but it was on my phone, and so I look at I look at hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stuff a day, articles a day on my phone. And I tried to look back in the history on the computer. I try to look back on the history of that, and I'm finding Facebook that I looked up, but it's not taking me to the one I read. I know what it said. I just don't remember what it said, but I remember it started off was something like, I've kept my mouth shut long enough about this, or something to that effect. And it went on this kind of dissertation, just walking you through what they felt. So I'll find it. We're already over the time that I wanted to be on here anyway, so we're going to play this video for you guys, and then we're going to say our goodbyes for, a few hours. My audio. This is getting ridiculous. I'm so sick of this. Good gracious. This is getting literally to the point that it's driving me absolutely insane. How this system cannot handle moving between things for audio. They're idiots. Sorry, not sorry. Let's try it again.
Do you feel that they were taking good care of him?
I've got information from podcasts that they were showing that horrify me.
I'm sorry, I know this is upsetting, but I just want to understand.
They were going on podcasts, and it was like, it's supposed to be about Sebastian. They wanted to talk about themselves. I don't get that. We need to get Sebastian's face out to everybody. Have them looking for Sebastian. This isn't about me. It's not about his mom. It's not about his stepdad. This is about Sebastian. He needs to be found.
Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers disappeared from his home on February 26, 2024, when he was only 15 years old. He has since turned 16 on December 7th. We have been going over quite a bit when it comes to the statements made, the peculiar, mysterious, and quite disturbing statements made from the mom and the stepfather of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. As you can see, the father is highly upset, answering some simple questions because nobody seems to be helping him. Check out more disturbing statements made by Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' mom and husband.
Have they been searching at all? I mean, I know you're out there right now. Have his mom and stepdad been out there too?
I can't answer that question. I don't know. I haven't seen them. And they've not been where I've been handing out flyers or searching. So I couldn't tell you what they've been doing.
He calls me that Wednesday. And he's like, and I was like, oh, great. He's calling. So I went straight to voicemail.
Hey, Jen.
And then he had said 911. Call me. So then I was like, well, it must be emergency. So let me call him. I called him and I said, what's up, Chris? And he was like, you know, he's like, Nina, I got to tell you something. And I was like, and in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, he's going to tell me that the trial, we're not going to go to trial, that everything is going to be done with and we don't need to worry and we can, you know, we don't need to do all this stuff. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. And then he tells me, I got to be open and honest with you. And then he pauses like for 6 or 7 seconds. And I'm like, well, I was like, what? What do you have to tell me? So then at that point in time, he tells me that Sebastian went missing. And I was speechless. I have to say I was speechless. And then I went into saying, well, what happened? Like, how did he go missing? Like, what happened? And he said, well, he went missing between 12:30 and 6 a.m. And I'm like, it's thinking to myself, and then, you know, like, that's crazy. And I said, don't you have security cameras, Christopher? I said, you mean you have security cameras in your house? I mean, don't you? And he paused. He didn't say anything. So then I said, what happened to your dogs? They said, don't your dogs? They said, you have those Yorkies and I said, every time that I call Faith, they said they're barking.
So we have barking dogs. Everybody wanted to know whether the dogs bark, and they do. And they do.
He didn't say nothing. So I said, I said, are you lying to me? I said, because I mean, thinking in my head, like, are you just...
She knew he was I think her spidey senses were working here. Oh, thanks, Grave Crime with Grace. Thank you. I think her spidey senses were working because she knew something wasn't right. I feel like she knew something wasn't right, but she thought it was about him lying, about him missing, not that he was lying about why he was missing.
Buying more time for this trial that's coming up. Like, you know, what other information are you going to find out that you're going to use against me, right? So then I said, I'm going to look this up. And I said, have you contacted your lawyer yet? I said, we still have a trial. I said, at 8:30 next Tuesday. And he had raised his voice at me and he said, we're not going. And I was like, don't raise your voice at me. You're not going to disrespect me like that. You're not going to raise your voice at me. So then I said, by law, I said, I have to contact my attorney. And I said, I'm going to email him as soon as I get off the phone with you. And I'm going to tell him that there's a missing child. And I had stated like, okay, well, is there like something, we could do? Can you send me like a flyer? Can you send me something? I said, I could put it on my social media and it'll take off. Like I have a lot of people that I know and a lot of my clientele. I said, we're willing to, they share a lot of my stuff. So he never sent me anything. he was so worried about his phone, and he had said something. He's like, the cops had my phone, and I had to call Faith, and I told him I had to fuck my daughter. And I said, Christopher, I said, you need to calm down. I said, Faith is fine. She's with me.
My question is, why was he more concerned about Faith than he was Sebastian, who was missing? I thought about that when I was preparing this video, how ironic he was so concerned about Faith, where he knew where she was, yet he didn't show any level of concern about Sebastian. He had to call his daughter. He had to speak to his daughter right now. He's telling law enforcement, give him back his phone. I think we missed a lot in this Nina interview. And that's just one. That's just one thing I've noticed.
I'm her mother. I said she was with her family here. I said, you don't need to worry about her. You don't need to worry about her whatsoever. And and he wanted to say more, and he repeated himself again, and he said, I need to be honest with you. And I was like, Christopher, I don't have time for this. I said, I just don't.
What was he going to tell her? We will never know what he was going to be honest with her about, because she had already kind of had this spidey senses that, in my opinion, he never cared before or after, and never will, in my opinion. Amen to that. We see nothing remotely considered or even appearing like caring parents from them.
I said, I gotta go. And that was it. Kind of beating myself up. Maybe I should have stayed on the phone a little bit longer. Maybe I should have let him talk. But with the experiences that I've had with Christopher in the past, I just couldn't trust him.
While we were on the phone, and I was like, is he on the other side of the bed? The normal places he may be in the house, and he wasn't. So I was like, okay, well, hold on a minute. And immediately after that, we called the sheriff's department and made a report.
I ran all over the house, outside, inside. I looked in every closet.
Within minutes, they were here. They responded within minutes, and here we go.
And I keep seeing in all the headlines the night that Sebastian wandered off barefoot. I don't think that's what happened. Mm-hmm. He's never wandered off before. Why do you keep saying Sebastian did leave? Why are you saying that? Would you go out in the middle of the night and leave without your shoes on? I'm just curious. Would you, Aaron?
No, you make a good point. I would not leave without my shoes.
I don't think you would either. Even more so because you're hearing Courtney Lasky and Seth Rogers state this boy is autistic. He doesn't think the same way we think. We have to try to think like him. He liked everything in a particular routine. His routine was he wore shoes every time he went out after the ant bed incident. Okay? So, no. Why would he go missing? And let me ask you something else, Aaron Cantrell. Isn't it true that Emergency Management Agency Director Ken Widener has told us that the canines could not pick up a scent outdoors?
Exactly.
And he kept telling me that if people keep asking the question, he's going to answer it. And turned around and stated that if he tells them, people will stop looking for Sebastian.
Here, let me bring you up to speed on that deal. Sebastian has pull-ups that he wears because Sebastian likes to pee in his pants and defecate in his pants. It has become a problem at school.
He's a teenager. We have to give him that.
Wearing deodorant.
That again is a typical teenage boy.
That's something that we'd been really, really working on, because other people had been like, is he wearing deodorant?
Mom? And I was like, I mean, I'm trying. It's a recent development too. I mean, he's gone through a growth spurt, and it was like overnight I blinked and he had like a little mustache growth coming in, and all of a sudden he was starting to smell. He's really coming into his hormones. Like I was not ready for puberty at all. No, I don't think he is ready for it. He's so angry about getting hair on his face.
He's on multiple occasions sit there and has told me he doesn't want to go back. And I've asked him, why don't you want to go back? And he wouldn't tell me. He didn't say why. He was just like, I just don't want to go back. And it's, at that point in time, I'm just like, okay, well, maybe it's the freedom that he gets at my house. And he's a teenager. And now I'm finding out a lot of this stuff. And I wish he had told me.
Well, I don't mean to spin this, but you said a lot of law enforcement and volunteers and all that were out there searching. Let me tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. Chris Proudfoot was threatening all kind of people that they should go home. Why are they there? He allegedly sprayed some neighbor with water, because they were asking. So a lot of people, let's say, tried to, help and volunteer, but Proudfoot and his cronies, or maybe by himself, was threatening them, stopping them. And I don't know why the people that were threatened and threatened by him allegedly didn't call the police or what is it called? The TBI. I don't know why the TBI hasn't done nothing.
The traces seem to stop. So the dogs trace Sebastian up to the retention pond, and then it just all of a sudden stopped. Is there like an explanation for that at all that you heard that makes sense to you, Chris?
The scent disappeared. That's it. I mean,
that's it.
Yeah, the scent disappeared. Once they lost the trace, that's it. This is a case that will go down as a researched study case where they're asking the questions and looking for answers. And literally nothing. Everything they try to come up with, blank.
I mean, it's. We've been told this is probably one of the largest searches that they've conducted with so much input that it's a case to be studied for sure.
Us in all, it was 4.
No, I was just saying, so from the sounds of there was like 4 or 5 of y'all that went to the hotel, stayed at the hotel. You guys met up with Katie the next day to go eat, and while you guys were sitting there eating, one of the girls got up to go to the bathroom. She picked up what she thought was her phone. When she grabbed it, it was recording, doing a screen record. It had been recording for like an hour and a half, and she put it down, said she went to the bathroom, felt sick as hell to her stomach. She didn't really know what to do or what to say at that point, but she knew that y'all had been recorded. Barbecue had recorded you guys.
I know exactly what I would have said. I would have made a scene. I'd have looked at it and said, I'm sorry, I grabbed your phone. Why are you recording this conversation very loud so everybody at the table heard? That's how I'd have handled it. It's pretty simple. You see something, you say something.
Guys, for an hour and a half while y'all was sitting there eating with Katie.
We want the FBI, the marshals. We need the FBI. We need the marshals in on this. And let me tell you about them. They will find what happened to the little boy. They will find Sebastian what happened to him.
Let me know your thoughts about what was put together. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channel. And don't keep us a secret. Share this story out. God bless each and every one of you.
All right. So, guys, thanks for hanging out with me this Saturday afternoon. I'm sure you guys have a lot of things to be doing today. If you don't, go find some sun and some fresh air if you can. I feel like some parts of the United States is probably still cold. Delilah jumped in my lap because the air conditioning is on and she's shivering here right now. So I got to go adjust the AC unit. But if you guys haven't seen baby Delilah, there she is. Say hi. Say hi, baby Delilah. Say, I love my mommy. She's nice and warm and I'm freezing. I'm just a little peanut. I'm a pocket pop. I'm a pocket pup. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Lisa B. Always. Thank you. I am wearing a new shirt. If you guys would like to get your shirt, this is, hey, you dropped something. Hey, you dropped, or hey, you dropped this. I can't even read backwards. Sorry, guys. It's coming forward for you, but it's backwards for me. There it is. And Kitty holding some brains. So I'm pretty sure everybody knows who this is directed at. If you don't, if you want your own, you don't want me to be out here with the coolest shirts in town, you need to order yours. You know where you can get yours? You can get yours from Sonia. That's where you can get yours. So if you want to match Bullhorn Betty and you want to ask people, hey, you dropped this. Let me help you out here. Open the cranium. Let me drop it in. So, anyways, guys, if you want your shirt, don't forget to reach out to Sonia. She's our beautiful mod in the chat that makes you guys all, happy, part of the team that makes you guys all happy in chat, getting all the trolls out of here so you guys can have good and intelligent conversations and communicate with each other. So, again, if you guys would like your shirt, reach out to Sonia. Thank you. You can't see me, but I can. I can. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, y'all, please be safe. But more important, say it with me. Kind to one another. You are now excused. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.